Welcome, everyone. I'd like to call the May 6, 2020 Richfield Springs Central School Board of Education meeting to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, everyone. I need a motion for approval of previous minutes.
So moved.
Second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
One abstain?
Yes.
Okay, so, hey, Tom, can you hear me right now? Tom?
Hello.
Hey, Tom, can you hear me good?
Okay, I can now.
All right, so
Can hear it
we did approval of previous minutes.
now.
Do you approve them?
Yes.
Okay, and then one abstain, so 4 yeses and 1 abstain, Marilyn. And then approval of agenda. Need a motion for approval of the agenda.
So moved.
Hello.
All right, and the second from Tom Shipsky, just said it. So I'll go around. Brad Smith,
Yes.
Tom Shipsky,
Yes.
Tony Bailey,
Yes.
Julie Gavallo,
Yes.
and Scott, yes. So 5 yeses, okay? No guest reports, so we'll jump right into Mr. Piatti, Superintendent report.
Thanks, Scott. Today is Nurses Day, so we'd like to wish a happy Nurses Day to our school nurse, Christy Effner. She's been an outstanding addition to our team at the school. And as well, I'd like to wish a happy Nurses Day to Julie Gavallo, our board member.
Thank you.
Also, let's see here. Yesterday was Teacher Appreciation Day. And of course, I can't thank our teachers enough for the job they always do with the job they've done under these trying circumstances. They've really risen to the challenge and have done an amazing job. I believe that Richfield Springs is blazing a trail here and doing an amazing job. And a couple of weeks ago was Administrative Assistants Day. And I know each of us here that have an administrative assistant believe ours is the best. But thank you to Marilyn for all that she does for me and for the district. Tonight's agenda is, so I want to say congratulations to our head mechanic, Tom Smith, as well as our bus driver, Sandy Smith. Both are on the agenda tonight for retiring. Sandy will retire at the end of June, and Tom will retire at the end of August. Both have given decades to the district. They have been obviously instrumental in keeping our students safe over the years. So congratulations to them and thank you to them. Moving on to a little bit to do with the coronavirus, the CARES Act, while things are not out yet, we receive more and more information each day, but the CARES Act is the process to receive federal funds for COVID expenses. And right now in the State Education Department's portal, there's a spot to apply for those funds through IDEA as well as Title I and Title IV, but the actual survey is not there yet, but at least the state is putting up something in the portal to let us know that that's where we're going to find it. That's where we're going to apply for additional funds based on expenses from COVID-19. So what we need to do in the district is make sure we're tracking those additional expenses regularly. Already we are in the thousands of dollars with our PPE purchases. We've purchased masks, gloves, sanitizer, and those costs will continue to come in. So good to know there's going to be a process for that. The budget vote. Maryland has done an amazing job getting out in front of the changes to the budget vote. The governor finally decided that that vote will take place on June 9th. We have to let everybody out there know that anyone running for a board seat has until May 11th to let us know, and they can contact Maryland in the district office to do so. The budget vote will be done entirely by absentee ballot. Again, Maryland has reached out to BOCES Printing, and we're going to be able to insert our ballot into the budget newsletter. So it's a huge cost savings by putting that in the newsletter, and it'll go out to all the families. And I know that the board members have seen this. There's also notification that if you need more than one ballot, to contact the district office, because we have no way of knowing how many eligible voters are in each home. So if they need additional ballots, they can contact the school. And that's really it for the process. Before I move on to the next thing, does anybody have any questions that Marilyn or I could answer regarding the budget vote process? No? Okay. Scott, did you have a question? There you go.
Yeah, I would just say that the May 11th deadline for board seat, you don't have to fill out any documentation. You just have to be eligible to serve and let Maryland know.
Yes. Yep. And my final item, not for, excuse me.
I was just going to say you're promoting all of this in information that's being made public via newspapers, and also you can read it at our website.
Yes. The governor changed the requirement to 28 days and 2 postings. So our first one's gone out, and the second one will follow up. And my final piece, not a tremendous amount of things to report on right now, but well, before I go there, building project is coming along nicely. If anyone's gone by the school, the masonry work, they're rebuilding the brick. It's looking top notch. They're plowing through the roof. I think with the governor opening phase 1 on May 15th to allow construction to reconvene throughout New York State, I think our contractors want to finish up as soon as possible and get on to other jobs. So we're really benefiting by that. But my last piece is last week after Sandy Sherwood, our district superintendent, went to Albany and met with SED. We were told to revise our budgets using 2011, 2012 state aid numbers. And that's approximately another $100,000 in lost revenue for the district. That takes us right around the $700,000 mark. And I still believe we'll be able to do that without any faculty cuts, without cutting program for our students. But and my hope is that President Trump changes his rhetoric and that we get a stimulus package through from the federal government to give the states money for these costs that could make us whole the way they did coming out of the Great Recession. So fingers crossed, we get some support there somewhere down the line, even if it's in 2021, but we'll see. And that's it for my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Piatti. Dr. Wilson.
Hi. Hi. I just want to echo Mr. Piatti's sentiments about the people that we work with. So it's certainly nice to have a day to recognize them with special attention, but really in our line of work, it is a team approach. And it's so from the administrative assistants, particularly Amy Johnson, who is my right-hand woman and helps keep the elementary school as well as a few other departments running smoothly. And Christy Effner, our school nurse. Our teachers and support staff have really been tremendous. They have gone above and beyond. So you hear in the news in Governor Cuomo's most recent statement about the state of schools and the direction that they should take was quite infuriating for our staff and myself. So we want our kids in front of our faces, and we miss them terribly. And the amount of sacrifice and time, intelligence, and determination that my teachers and staff, and I know Joe's as well, have put in order to make that happen has really been incredible. So in a time when we know that educators and teachers are usually underappreciated, this is certainly the time when I hope the general public realizes just how important and their job is and how difficult it is. So kudos to them every day, particularly in these uncharted waters. A update on our grading system. So I can't remember if I spoke about it last time, but I just sent a letter out to our families in grades 3 through 6. We will be continuing grading work that comes in. We will be using our report card as it is written. However, we will not be using the 0 to 100 point scale. We will be using the 1 to 4 standard-based grading scale, which our parents are already familiar with. And there are descriptors already on the report card that they are familiar with. There will be a new box on the report card, however, that allows my teachers to put in an I for incomplete or a C for complete based on students' participation in school over this last quarter. Again, there is not a 0 to 100 scale. For that is only for grades 3 through 6. For grades pre-K through 2, we are not using the already created school report card. We are using a new template that we created, and there are 4 criteria, 1 in ELA, 1 in math, 1 for participation, and 1 for overall social, emotional, behavioral, and completion of the class. And again, we are using the 1 through 4 standard-based grading system, which our parents are already familiar with. So that communication will be going out next week. The letter is written and it'll be communicated next week. Joe, Tom, and I are working together to create system for students to clean out lockers and pick up things. That will be communicated to families very soon in the near future. And we don't see it creating any large obstacles or being an issue. We do have our eyes and ears on almost 95% of our students, and those that we are having trouble, either because of technology or because of other obstacles that just tend to present themselves to our families. We have had troopers do well visits. I have made home visits. So we are really narrowing that gap between students who are participating and students who are not. So I don't have major concerns there as well. So everything is going well, and we are running a successful distance learning operation.
Thank you, Dr. Wilson. Mr. DePease.
Thanks, Renee. Nice report. I want to just echo the same thing. Congratulations to Tom and Sandy. Really appreciate their dedication and service to their district, and they certainly will be missed next year. And I wish them both years of happiness and prosperity in their retirement. I also would like to echo the same thoughts about Teacher Appreciation Day. We really do have a very special group of teachers here. They are an outstanding, talented group. They're resilient, and they are doing an outstanding job swimming in uncharted waters right now as we navigate this crisis. Just to give you a little bit of an update on the actual continuity of learning plan and the distance learning activities, we We started off really strong. The kids were responding very well. We had a very good success rate of kids completing work, completing assignments, and connecting with their teachers. But like most things, the novelty has worn off after the first couple weeks. The honeymoon is over, we should say. And you have your 80% of the kids that are typically, doing it and getting it done. And you have the other 20% that are either completely disconnecting or giving up. And that is concerning. We are seeing a much higher rate of struggle in the 7th and 8th grade, the middle school students. There is also a level of frustration from some parents with getting numerous phone calls from parents all saying the same things. And, I think it's tough news as a parent to realize the news last Friday that, hey, we're stuck doing this now for the rest of the year when school is closed. So I think there is sort of an acceptance grievance period that's going to happen with this, but distance learning is tough. We are now trying to assess and teach students with the barriers of their home lives, and that's a real issue. A lot of our at-risk students were able to have interventions in place and help them get through things the best we can. But, if we're not there to sit on them and see them every single day, it's hard to really make those barriers. So we are in a tough spot with reaching all students, and that's going to continue to be the issue moving forward. That being said, I think that discussion really moves into the grading issues and the grading debate. I think we need to be very cautious about telling students that grades don't matter. And I think there's a lot of schools that are going out and really making those decisions that we're doing pass fail. In the high school, it's a totally different game. Middle school, maybe not so much, but high school where credits count, and the Regent's giving us this golden opportunity to get our most at-risk students to basically waive the Regents exams. I mean, this is a huge blessing. It's the once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to get these kids to potentially graduate, all of our kids. But they got to pass the course, and that's been a difficult thing to grasp in some cases. So for progress reports right now, again, progress reports are just a snapshot in time. They're not really, it's just, all right, what are your grades at this point? Grades really don't motivate. So if a parent sees tons of zeros on there, for those who are really on top of things, it might motivate the students to get it on. But those who are disconnected, grades are not going to motivate them and really help them with a zero. But we're certainly going to try. In the middle school, we are looking at a pass-fail option just for progress reports, not overall. So we developed a scale for the middle school only. There's 3 different types of passing grades that students will receive. They'll have a passing with a comment saying you exceeding grade level standards. There's a passing that's saying you're meeting grade level standards. And there's a passing saying you're developing, meeting some aspects of the assignments and tasks, etc. There's 2 different types of failures. We're going to be saying that failing, you're not meeting the standards and not meets little aspects of the assignments. And failing, no work attempted, because there are some students that have completely just checked off the radar at this point. 9 through 12, we are staying with numerical grades. It's a different beast with Regents exams and credits. So I think in those cases, if a kid has a 0, it's going to go in as a 0. Hopefully that will be a wake-up call for some of them. But that's where we stand. Those are our struggles. We're having data meetings with our teachers every other day. Every other day at 9:30, we have about an hour meeting. We check in, we talk about kids, and we talk about the barriers that we're experiencing. Our counselors are doing an amazing job. Our teachers are doing a great job, really going above and beyond. But this is challenging, and it's a unique scenario. And that's it. One other quick thing I should probably mention as well is graduation. There's a lot of schools that are, planning for worst case scenario, planning for alternative events. And we certainly have all those ideas in the hopper. But I think it's very important to realize that we have to wait until the governor tells us what we can and can't do before we get too involved with, booking alternative venues, looking at outside, because we don't know if we're going to get there. A lot of schools right now are planning for virtual ceremonies, and that is certainly an option. But we're exploring all options. We're keeping all things on the table, and we hopefully we want to provide a special moment for these kids in the graduation ceremony as best we can. That's it.
Thanks, Mr. DePiece. We appreciate it. Mr. Sunderland.
Hello, everybody. I hope you can see me.
We can see you.
All right, that's sad. It's just budget stuff. It's a very strange year. Working a lot with Marilyn and Tom. We cut the budget some, but the budget is just a guideline, and it's a maximum of voter approval of how much we can spend, so that when things change, if we need to spend less, that's okay, because that's where it really counts anyway. It's the spending. Just like at home, you can have a budget, but what really counts is how much you spend. So we're going to make sure we don't spend more than our revenue, and we're going to be okay. I'm also very happy that we have such good technology at Richfield Springs. We're way ahead of a lot of schools. And with this home teaching through technology, we're very fortunate that we have what we have, even though some of the homes I know don't have the internet. That's all I have to say. I've been working with banking for the DASNY. It works with a lot of lawyers, financial advisors, banking, so that we'll get the rest of our money so we can finish up the capital project this summer. One last thing, I guess. I see the teachers really are teaching. I'm really proud of them. I just saw a cooking video that one of the students made. It was fantastic. Better than I could do. Thank you.
Thanks, Kurt. Okay, we'll start off with Mrs. Cavallo.
I just wanted to say thank you to everyone, the students, the parents, the teachers, administration, the tech staff, the transportation staff. Everybody's doing such a wonderful job keeping up with all the new changes, and we have a lot of caring people in our district. Nice to see that. I also want to say thank you to the seniors for the presentations that they had sent through Sam in there. And sorry we're not able to see you in person, but your presentations were great, and best wishes to you all.
Thank you, Julie.
Thank you.
Mr. Bailey.
Hello. Yep, I agree with Julie. There's a lot of thanks to go around, and starting with the teachers that have already been mentioned, it's just incredible how everybody's going above and beyond. A special thank you to our administrators for keeping everybody engaged. It's not a simple task keeping everybody motivated and moving in the right direction right now, especially when you hear how disconnected a New York State governor can be from education. It's kind of scary, but all the more reason for us to continue to stay engaged. Battles on the front line going in the right direction. The superintendent from Cooperstown actually Bush and Ms. Ambrose for taking the lead on this topic and for blitzing the relative information, hotlines, websites, everything out to our community by way of social media and emails and everything else. So special thank you to them for that. And I'm with Julie too. I miss seeing the community presentations from the seniors. Zach and Jake Cameron and Chrissy Barras. I mean, her presentation, I mean, the amount of effort and design work she put into that and the content was just incredible. So I think that's about all I have. Thanks to everybody.
Hey, Tony.
Thank you.
Hey, Tom, can you hear me? Tom Shipsky.
Hello.
All right.
I'm Eric Howard, MB 56 word is about all I'm getting out of this.
Okay.
And
So,
I think part of that's just a function of the problem I'm having with my hearing.
okay. So it's your turn to speak if you'd like.
I'm good for today.
Okay. Thank you. Brad.
Okay, just I had a couple of things. I want to echo what Tony was saying about the seniors' presentations. Excellent job, great layouts and information. I wish we could see them as well, but unfortunately, we're just simply going to have to do what we can do. And I feel bad for the seniors; they're getting shortchanged all the way around, and I'm not sure there's any way to truly make it up. But anything we can do to support them in their last month and a half or so of school. We definitely need to take advantage of that if we can, which I know everybody's doing what they can. So everybody will just have to get by. Last meeting, we talked about internet access, and Jeff Bush had sent me the names of a couple of teachers struggling with internet, and I've tried to make some contacts to see if we can get access for them. And unfortunately, because of placement and the scheduling of when they're going to be in that area, one is like in phase 3, which will be later this year. And then the other one, they're still working on to try to figure out if they can even get to that person. So I haven't made a lot of progress there, but we're trying. And let's see, I want to just thank Renee and Joe for sharing some of the tracking of engagement on students, because I think that's important for us to kind of keep track of and try to identify where those problems are. If there's things that we can solve together, obviously we want to try to help overcome those issues, but I know that there's a lot of kids which are just disengaged and I may not be getting support from home to keep them on track, which is going to be a struggle and not something we can always control, but we definitely want to keep trying. So we'll continue with that. Congratulations to Tom and Sandy on the retirement. And I was wondering if anybody has talked about a last day of instruction. That's something which has been being bounced around. People are wondering about how long is instruction going to continue to, and any ideas on that?
We are waiting for clarification from the governor. He hasn't waived Regents Week yet. So he's not giving us any additional aid, but in the next breath, he hasn't said, work your way back from the 6 days of spring break, plus the Friday before Memorial Day that we will now be teaching. So there are 7 days. And in moving the March 20th Superintendent's Conference Day to June 26th, the Friday of Regents Rating Day, if I walk it back the 6 or 7 days, which I'd rather be safe than sorry, I would say this is not a declaration yet. It'll come later once we hear from the governor. But right now, the last day would be Wednesday, June 16th. We're matching up with several other districts, but everyone is in the same boat saying, let's wait till we hear from the governor, and then we hear from SED, and then we submit our calendars and we get approval so we don't lose any days of state aid.
Right, good, okay. Yeah, I know we've been talking about Teacher Appreciation Week and Nurses Appreciation Day and all that. I think they know now that a lot of the parents truly appreciate teachers more than ever before, which can go without being said. But the reality of it is a lot of the parents are equally as stressed with trying to maintain schedules and workloads and doing their work and helping their students as well. So Just something which people are asking about, wondering how long that's going to go. And let's see, the last thing I had was just kind of for Maryland, that I just want to announce that I'm going to self-nominate for the Board of Education seat, and I will send a email to her tomorrow just to make that official on paper or whatever. But I've been kind of holding on to my petition for the last month and a half or so, waiting to try to be able to go out and get signatures, and haven't been able to do that, obviously. But and now with the change in protocols with the governor's announcement, I just want to make sure that you're aware that I'm willing to run again for the board seat, and I look forward to that. That's all I got.
Nice. Thanks, Brad.
Mhm.
Yeah, it echoes a lot of what every one of the board members said, and the work that Renee and Joe and the team are doing. We have an all-staff meeting every Wednesday at 2:00 from the Hall of Fame, just to touch base and see how everyone's doing and figure out what we're working on, what we need, any of that. And the president of the Hall asked, how are the parents doing with kids at home, and what you're working on? And one of our staff members said, my kids are hoping that they don't have the same teacher next year. So Teacher Appreciation Week is or day is a good timing, and congratulations, and thank them for all the work. And I do agree with what Dr. Wilson was saying. I think that not just at Richfield, although I did see some tweets from some of our own staff about how our governor needs to catch up with the times and figure out what teachers really do in the classroom instead of sitting behind a desk and making comments like he does. They're working hard, and to help those kids, nurture them beyond just teaching them the X's and O's of math, science, English, language, the things that we talk about, but there's a lot more to a teacher, so thank you to them. Thank you to our nurse, and really Joe and Renee, when we're sitting together and you're talking about the passion that you have for the work that your staff and teachers are doing, and the work that the students are doing, and you're wringing your hands because you're upset because maybe a student isn't getting it. That comes through today too, with how you're just trying to help those kids be successful given the new climate that we're in today. So thank you again to you, both of you guys, for that work. And thank you for the entire staff for the work that they're doing as well. And I want to echo too that the four senior presentations, it's disappointing that we don't get to sit with those students and thank them in person. But hopefully they know that we're thinking of them, and we appreciate the work that they've done at Richfield, and appreciate them sharing what they've shared in their presentations to us. So thank you to them as well. So with that, I would like to open up for any public comments, if anyone has public comments, and I think Derek is going to allow that. Jim, you were shaking your head no, that's not happening?
Well, the chat is open on YouTube, but there hasn't been any comments that popped in yet.
Okay, very good. Okay, so then I would just like to have a discussion of any action items. Does anyone have a discussion? And Tom, can you hear me good right now? Okay, I'll talk closer to the phone. Any questions or comments about the action items? Okay, so if everyone will take their mute off, and I'll go through just like I just did earlier. Number one, resolved that the Richfield Spring Central School Board of Education of the counties of Otsego and Herkimer in the state of New York is hereby authorized to expend the proposed sum of $12,611,767 as general appropriations budget for the 2020-2021 school year, and to levy the necessary tax for the above purpose. Brad Smith.
So moved.
I need a motion, please.
Yep, so moved.
Second. Okay, Brad Smith.
Yes.
Tom Shipsky.
Yes.
Tony Valley.
Yes.
Julie Gavallo.
Yes.
Scott Wondor, yes. 5 yeses. Motion carries. 2, resolved upon the recommendation of the superintendent of schools, the Board of Education adopts the 2019-2020 property tax report card.
So moved.
Second.
Brad Smith,
Yes.
Tom Shipsky,
Yes.
Tony Bailey,
Yes.
Julie Gavallo,
Yes.
Scott Mundor, yes. That's 5 yeses. Motion carries. Number 3, resolved upon the recommendation of the superintendent of schools, the annual budget vote and board seat election be held Tuesday, June 9th, 2020 by absentee ballot only.
So moved.
Second.
Brad Smith,
Yes.
Tom Shipsky,
Yes.
Tony Bailey,
Yes.
Julie Gavallo,
Yes.
Scott Mundor, yes. 5 yeses. Motion is approved. Number 4, resolved upon the recommendation of the superintendent of schools, the Board of Education accepts the revised board meeting calendar for the remainder of the 2019-2020 school year.
So moved.
Second.
Brad Smith,
Yes.
Tom Shipsky,
Yes.
Tony Bailey,
Yes.
Julie Gavallo,
Yes.
and Scott Mundor, yes. Five yeses. Motion is approved. Number 5, resolved upon the recommendation of the superintendent of schools, the following student recommendations and resignations be approved as listed.
So moved.
Second.
Brad Smith,
Yes.
Tom Shipsky,
Yes.
Tony Bailey,
Yes.
Julie Gavallo,
Yes.
Scott Mundor, yes. 5 yeses. Motion is approved. Thank you. And congratulations to Tom Smith and Sandra Smith on their retirement. Any item for board discussion? The only thing I would like to ask is who manages our website right now? Who is the person internally?
Shelley Vanderwerken.
Could we just get to her a new calendar to be updated?
Yes.
It just doesn't have the board info on there, and some other things just need to get updated on there.
Okay.
Any other items, guys?
No.
Okay. Topic of next board meeting, which is going to be held on May 27th, is our public hearing at 6:30. So really, that's the topic for the next board meeting. I do need an executive session motion for the purpose of the medical, financial, credit, or employment history of a particular person or corporation, or matters leading to the appointment, employment, promotion, demotion, discipline, suspension, dismissal, or removal of a particular person or corporation.
So moved.
Second.
Brad Smith,
Yes.
Tom Shipsky,
Yes.
Tony Bailey,
Yes.
Julie Gavallo,
Yes.
and Scott. Motion carries. Thank you, everyone, for being on tonight. Be safe out there, and thank you for all the hard work you guys are doing.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Thank
Take
you.
care.
Thanks, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.